When it was still somewhat warm out, I was asked to go along on a ride on a new type of watercraft. And the best way I can describe it, it's like a wakeboard that you typically would, get on behind a boat, but there's no boat. Instead, there's an electric motor that you control with a remote control in your hand. And then you power it and you lay on it, and then all of a sudden you have to jump up on it like it's a surfboard, and then you're basically surfing. It was pretty wild. And the individual behind this, at least bringing it to Springfield to some capacity, called the business Surf Springfield. Matt Scherer joins us now. And again, full disclosure, Matt, you did take me on one of these training runs. It took me about 30 minutes or so. I was able to get it done.
You did a great job. You were up and flying in the air.
I was up and ready to go. It was, and listen, it was a fun time. Little did I know there would be some controversy to this. So let's kind of walk through a little bit of where you started this and what you're expecting to happen here in the weeks ahead at the Springfield, which, again, tonight, from my understanding, is just a special city council meeting of a budget overview, and then they'll have a committee of the whole on the 31st where this could come up as an ordinance that they'll consider. So start us where you started this whole saga and take us all the way to where we are now.
Of course. So I have a background in surfing. I'm from Springfield. I was on the swim team. I was a lifeguard. I taught swim lessons to young kids here. I moved to California, fell in love with surfing, ended up moving back, and I missed it, and I found these craft as a way to bring surfing to communities who don't have waves, don't have time to travel or money to the ocean, or don't even want to. There's no sharks here, so you can surf. You don't have to worry about any of that. I thought it was a great idea. I was directed to an office in the city, I think OPED, Office of Planning and Economic Development, by the Central Illinois Small Business Development Center. Said, hey, there was this federal money that was given to the city to revitalize the community and start small businesses after COVID. Went, applied. They thought it was a great idea as well. I was loaned money from the city and went to city council after I received the funds, said, hi, here's what we want to do. If you guys have any questions, if you want to come try it, we'd love to have you. Please let us know what you require from us. We didn't hear back for a while, so we proceeded to say, how do we register these crafts? So Illinois Department of Natural Resources said, we know what these are. They are personal watercraft, so please register them as such. Personal watercraft are allowed on the reservoir, so we registered them as such and went forth learning how to operate them ourselves very well before we started providing lessons, then started providing the lessons, and we were informed that we were not allowed to use these on the reservoir. And so we've been trying to figure out why that is.
So then you start getting some kind of rumblings of pushback. You went to even the association out at the lake and talked to some individuals. You talked to various city aldermen. What were those conversations like with people? What kind of feedback were you getting?
A mutual friend referred us to the Springfield Lakeshore Improvement Association as their vice president, Micah King. We were told he's a young guy. He has a surf boat or some sort of thing like that, and he's into these types of things. You should talk to him and see what's going on, because we were told that they do not want these to happen on Lake Springfield. So we said, okay, well, maybe we can come to your board meeting and speak and educate people. Maybe it's just an issue of misunderstanding. Let's show you what these are, offer you lessons if you want to do them, free of charge on us. If you want to put your hands on them, see what they are. They're new. We understand new things are taken with an air of skepticism. So, hey, might we be able to come do that? And we were told, absolutely not. You can't come to the meeting. Your idea will never happen. And yes, we were like, well, that's interesting. Okay. And unfortunately, at this point, this is 5 months from when we went to city council in May of 2022 originally. We kept reaching out saying, hey, we provided all that information you asked. Can we have a meeting and talk about this? What's going on here?
Instruction in the operation of electric
never responded to, so I unfortunately FOIA'd a bunch of emails between the involved parties in the city.
It's usually easier to show them a video or a picture.
A couple days before those were due, they said, hey, let's have that meeting.
Anybody can do this. There's many different ways to experience it, and you'll see through.
So I'm sharing on the live stream here just some of the moments where I went with you on Lake Springfield. to ride these things, and you were with me the entire time. It wasn't like you just said, here you go, here's these e-foils, and you go out there on your own and do all this. No, you were there essentially showing me everything I needed to know, making sure that we were safe, we had the proper communication, the proper headgear, the flotation devices, and all of that ready to go. So you were looking to set this up as a business of sorts to allow for individuals to experience this.
Water is inherently dangerous.
And depending, here you go, here's the equipment, you go out and do your thing. You would have been there the entire time.
Yes, indeed. And we actually operate in Decatur and Clinton and are approved on other bodies of water. That's exactly what we do. And in fact, our insurance does not allow us to rent them. We are insured to provide supervised instruction on these craft.
So again, if you're watching online, you can see some of the functioning of the e-foils. But here we are in just a matter of time, Matt. This could be essentially prohibited on Lake Springfield. So talk how that would impact you.
So the short answer is that we were loaned this money that was given to the city by the federal government to start a business called Surf Springfield, where we surf in Springfield. Apparently the underwriters thought that was a good business idea. That was our plan from the get-go. And yet here we're being told that we can't operate these. And the really confusing part about the language in this is we were shown pictures at the meeting with the city of these egregious injuries, and they are horrific looking injuries. They were caused by traditional non-powered foil boards in surf zones that were highly populated, but in regards to the danger of the foil portion, it's not mentioned in this ordinance at all. The only mention is of motorized surfboards. So the traditional foil boards, which are out on the lake that cause these injuries, are not addressed in this proposed amendment at all, which is kind of interesting if safety is one of the key concerns, and I think visibility is one they mentioned. Well, when we ride on this board, we do start laying down, but very quickly, as you can attest to, Greg, we are upstanding or on our knees. When you stand up on the board and ride it, your height yourself, plus when you lift it into the air and you're operating it at the highest capacity it can do, that's nearly 10 feet. We actually have people who come, they've never seen it. It's very, very rare that people miss us out on the bodies of water that we operate.
Well, and again, it's not as if it would have just been one individual renting this from you, going off on their own and going all around the lake. Typically, and if you're the one doing this, you're supervising them. You're watching them. You're making sure that they're doing it safely in an area that is not well trafficked, especially if they're learning these things. At least that was my experience.
We predetermine safe areas away from people specifically for that on the bodies of water that we do actually operate on.
So what's your message to older people as they prepare to debate this issue about prohibiting these motorized water devices on Lake Springfield?
The first question we would ask is, if this was deemed to be a valid business idea, why are they banning it after they loaned us the money? And two would be, how is this craft any different from any other personal watercraft? As DNR has determined, they are personal watercraft. I think very egregious injuries have happened on wave runners or personal watercraft. If I'm not mistaken, in Springfield, yet those are still allowed on the lake. Those are still rented on the lake. All we ask is, please consider fair and equal treatment of personal watercraft, and please do not ban this craft.
Matt Scherer, you're wearing a shirt. Do you want to hold that up or put that on the camera?
Sure.
So it says, e-foiling is not a crime. And
we don't believe it should be. We want the citizens, the community, to be able to enjoy the reservoir as they choose. We think that our personal watercraft are no different from any other personal watercraft, and that we operate them in a very safe way. And we would like to be able to provide that information to anyone who is interested in it, whether that be the council or anyone in the community.
Matt Scherer, Surf Springfield, greatly appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story. We'll be watching this, of course, with the Springfield City Council Roundup each and every week. Not expecting it to come up tonight, but the week after, that's when we expect there to be some kind of debate. And I imagine we'll likely hear your voice during those committee meetings.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Greg.
All right, I appreciate it. We'll talk again soon. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY.